You're watching Asia Tonight. Leaders of the APEC economies adopted a joint declaration that stressed the need for resilience and shared benefits in trade at the end of the annual summit. The meetings took place under the shadow of rising trade tensions over tariffs and export controls, though the two largest economies, the US and China, reached a truce ahead of the summit. CNA's senior correspondent Lim Yang-suk has more.
After several days of back-to-back meetings, South Korean President Lee Jae-myung said APEC leaders agreed on a joint statement, one that stresses the need for fair and resilient trade that benefits everyone. He told reporters that the talks weren't always easy. There were different opinions about whether to include a separate section on trade and investment, but that compromise was finally reached early Saturday morning. They also agreed on two new initiatives, one on artificial intelligence and another on demographic change. Those are the two main issues South Korea wanted to highlight as this year's APEC host.
올해는 경주선언으로 APEC 회원 간 협력을 복원했으며 AI 이니셔티브 및 APEC 인구구조 변화 대응 공동 프레임워크를 통해 인류 공동의 도전 과제를 함께 해결할 주체로 APEC의 지평을 확대하였습니다.
What that means simply is that APEC members will work more closely together to prepare for a future shaped by new technology and aging populations. Seoul officials say these initiatives are about helping economies grow in a way that includes everyone, not just big players. At his closing press conference, Mr. Lee also spoke about peace and security, saying the United States is pivotal in improving ties between the two Koreas. President Donald Trump had hoped to meet North Korea's Kim Jong-un before returning to the U.S. this week, but this did not materialize.
그래서 우리가 남북 간의 대화만으로 한반도 문제를 해결하려고 해도 그런 뚜렷한 한계가 있기 때문에 미국의 역할이 중요합니다. 물론 그 외에 중국과 러시아의 역할도 중요하겠지요. 그러나 가장 중요한 것은 미국의 역할입니다.
President Lee also thanked Chinese President Xi Jinping, who will now take over the APEC chairmanship. The two men were seen chatting briefly before joining other leaders for the traditional group photo, all wearing hanbok-inspired scarves made specially for this summit. It marked the end of a busy week with dozens of bilateral meetings, long nights of negotiation, and plenty of talk about how to keep trade open and the region connected. After a week of diplomacy here in Gyeongju, South Korea's message to the region is clear that Asia's future growth will depend not just on open markets, but on shared trust and innovation. Lim Yang-suk, CNA, Gyeongju, South Korea.